channel. So for this tutorial, I'm going to be showing you guys how to make this ruffled neckline dress. So the first thing I'm going to do is to start with the back panel, because this is going to be a button down. So I'm going to first forget that my fabric is folded this way. It's just because the fabric is not cut straight, so but that doesn't matter. So you're going to just fold your fabric into two and start inserting your measurement. So mine is going to have a little sleeve. So I'm going to start with the shoulder. You're going to divide your shoulder into two. My shoulder is 16, divided by 2 is 8. So mark that here, come down, put in my armhole. So I'm going to start with my back panel. And then my armhole divided by 2 is going to be 10. I'm going to place that here. And then I'm going to move this way. And then I'm going to divide my bust measurement by 4. So my bust measurement is going to be 42, divided by 4 is 11.5, and it fits in here. So I'm going to mark that straight across, and then I'm going to come down here and mark the length of my dress. So the length of my dress plus seam allowance is going to be about 40. So I'm going to just mark that down here. So I'm going to mark that here, and then the next thing I'm going to do is to mark my waist to my shoulder to my hip, which is at 25. This part here is just because of the shape of the fabric. I'm trying to insert everything straight. So on the hip line here, I'm going to just insert my hip measurement divided by 4. So that is going to be, my hip is 48, divided by 4 is 12. So I'm going to add extra 1 inch to it for my seam allowance. That's going to be 13. Mark that here. And then down here, instead of marking 13, because I want it a little A-line, because if I mark 13 here and connect it straight, it's going to just be a straight dress. And then connect this part to this part. You see, my dress is just going to be a straight dress, almost. But I want it a little A-line, so I'm just going to add like 1 inch here, or 1.5, and then blend this down to the hip. So I'm going to just blend this down to the hip. And then connect the bust to also the hip. And then I'm going to put in my armhole curve. Remember, like I said, this is my back panel. And then after that, I'm going to go ahead and place in my neckline. My neckline, I'm going to use the normal 3 by, remember this is the back, so I'm going to use 3 by about 1 inch of depth. So here, and then I'm going to come down here by 1 inch and connect my shoulder slope all the way here. So now I'm going to go ahead and cut out this back panel. So guys, if you want, what you can also do is, once you put in your bust measurement and then you fold your fabric, if you want to extend your A-line by like 4 inches, 5 inches, it depends on you. So whatever you mark your A-line to be, just connect it with a straight line all the way to your bust. So instead of doing like how I did and connect to hip, just connect whatever extension you made here and connect it directly to your bust so that you can get that A-line. So the next thing I'm going to do now is to trace out my pattern paper, and then with my pattern paper I'm going to cut out my front panel. So guys, this is going to serve as my pattern paper here. I'm going to use this here, place my fabric on top, and then you see this is my center, which is the part with the straight line. I'm going to make sure that it lines in with my pattern paper. Just make sure you place it properly, and then you're going to go ahead, trace out the neckline, trace out the shoulder, trace out all the way down, and then cut it out at this point. So guys, now that I've traced it out, I'm going to remove this. So you see, I have my neckline, my curve, my this, so I'm going to now cut everything out. So guys, once you have this here, everything is like almost done. So you just have to figure out what you want yourself. If you want, you can do the type where people normally mark like a straight line this way up to the shoulder. If you want, you can do the one that goes across this way. If you any type you want to do, like, because I'm sure you've seen the one where the ruffle goes from one side to the shoulder. You can also see, I'm sure you've seen the one where it cuts in between halfway through the shoulder, like it cuts through this way. There are so many types that you can do with this. It depends on you, how you want yours to be. So whichever one you decide to do, I think I'm going to be going with halfway through my shoulder. So I'm going to cut mine. Maybe I'm going to just go this way because I want it to come down up to this point. So I might just use this one. So I'm going to just use this here. So mine is going to cut in between somewhere here, but it depends on you, the design you want. You can cut it across, then you know your ruffle is going to just go straight across your neckline, your shoulder, your chest. So I'm just going to go with this one. You can go with this here, and then you know it's just across your shoulder this way. So I'm just going to go with this one here. So now that I've cut this out, I'm going to fold my front panel. Once I fold my front panel, I'm going to start, I'm going to use this here to trace out on my front panel. So guys, you're going to fold your fabric, go ahead and pin the two down. So, but before you cut your pattern, before you cut this your pattern paper into two, remember to subtract that half an inch that they normally take out from the side of your sleeve, right? That they normally just trace out to make your front sleeve balance well. So when you cut that out, before you split out the paper, so what I'm going to do now is just to go, or you can wait after joining it back again and putting in your tracing, you can go ahead and just chip that off. You can do that whichever time you prefer. So but at this moment where we are is that you're going to pin this down, fold your fabric. Now we are cutting our front panel, fold your fabric into two again, and then you're going to leave 1 inch distance between the two of them, the upper part and the bottom part, and then that 1 inch that you left, you're going to split it into two. So that half inch is going to go with the top, half inch is going to go with the bottom. This half inch is going to be the seam allowance to join it back again together when you put the ruffle in between it. Like when you pleat in that little ruffle in between, this half an inch is what will help you join it, because once you subtract this half an inch again, now when you go to join it, you see you have back again your front panel, except this time you have your pleat in between. So now what I'm going to do is to get the rest of my length that I need, I'm going to take back my back panel and place it so that I can use it to cut out the remaining half of this dress. If you're wondering how you're going to cut the remaining half, don't go and place your fabric from the shoulder again. No, what you're going to use to trace the remaining half is your back panel, but this time around, remember, you already used this back panel to trace out this pattern paper. So what you're going to do is just place that back panel again and make sure that the armhole of the bottom part aligns together, right? You know that the bottom part aligns and then the body aligns. Make sure that you fit everything perfectly, using this back panel as this bottom pattern as your landmark, and then make sure that you fold everything perfectly, and then now you can go ahead and trace out the bottom body of the dress. So guys, now I can go ahead and take away my back panel. You see, I've used it to trace out the bottom. Now I'm going to remove it. So now I'm going to go ahead and divide that 1 inch following this line that I left in between, so that I can now cut out the neckline for my top part. So guys, you see, this is my half inch on this side, half inch on this side. I've split it into two. So now I'm just going to go ahead and just finish up all the rough edges now. So guys, you see what mine looks like. I've traced out this neckline, but I'm going to remove this now at this moment, and I'm going to show you guys. Remember, your front neckline is normally deep by 3 inches, so we are going to mark our 3 inches now. So for the front neckline, because remember this here we traced it with the back neckline, but the front neckline is going to come down 3 inches and then 3 inches of width. So we're going to mark that again this way, and then we are going to give it a curve, right? Like how you normally give your neckline a curve. And at this point here, you're going to just cut this out. So now we have our front neckline. So you see our front neckline is out. So this is our front neckline now. And remember, this here, we are trying to attach a ruffle in between, but it's still going to have a button. So what we are going to do at this moment is to, so guys, I've cut out what I'm going to need is about 4 inches or 3.5 of width. Depends on the length you want to work with. So 1 inch is going to be to fold the end, and then half an inch is what I'm going to use to join the top part. So I'm going to be left with about 2 inches rough, 2.5 or 2 inches ruffle in between. So what you're going to do is you're going to take it, what you're going to use as a ruffle, fold the ends, right? And then you're going to start from one end. So you see, I'm attaching mine at the bottom part. I know you're thinking this is supposed to have button. At what point will you put the button? Let's just finish this. So you're going to take it this way, and then you're going to keep on attaching it all the way to the neckline. Make sure you're sewing it right side facing up. So you see, this is the right side of my fabric, this is the right side of my pattern. I'm going to just take it and just sew it down all the way. This is the right side of my ruffle. If the wind blows up, you'll see the wrong side of my ruffle, but the right side is facing up. You're going to do it, come up all the way to the other side. So if you want to calculate how much you will need, the length of your ruffle, you might want to just measure from this top part here to the other angle and times it like by 3. So that will be the length of your ruffle, but the width might be about 4 inches or 3.5 depending on what you want. So I'm going to go ahead now and attach mine and sew it down. So guys, you see what I'm saying? So this is it here now. All you have to do is to take this one, place it this way like this here, and sew it down. This is if you're trying to make the one without, you see, if you put this here, so now you have your ruffle at the center. This is if you're trying to make the one without a button. So I'm trying to make the one with button. So what I have to do now is, so that I'm going to just fold this into 2 and split it in at the middle. So I'm going to just fold it this way, make sure that everything is equal, and then I'm going to divide it into 2. So I'm going to take it this way and split it all the way down, and then I'm also going to take my top pattern and also split it in all the way down. So I'm going to split the 2 of them now. This is now. So what I'm going to do is to put, and I've also split in the neckline into 2. So you see, one on each side, one on the other side. So what I have to do is to just take it the way it is. You see, the right side is all up facing me. So I'm just going to take this one this way, you see, and then sew it down. Take this one this way. So guys, I'm going to take this also and place it and sew it down. So when I'm done, I'm going to have something that looks like this, and then we'll come back and put in the placket for it. Next, you see, I've joined the top part of this side. You see, you can see my stitch inside here, and then after that I put in my placket on this side. So basically my placket is just a strip of fabric like this, about 3 inches of width or 3.5 depending on you, and then you're going to fold it into 2 this way. So you see the other side, I've not done it because I want to show you guys. I'm going to place it this way and then sew it down all the way to the end, sewing it with 1/2 inch, so that when I'm done, I'm going to flip it this way, and then it's going to be like this. And then when you're done, you're going to have 2 plackets on top of each other. You're going to go ahead and join your shoulder of the back together, and then go ahead and, like when you join the shoulder together, then you cut your sleeve. So now we are going to cut our sleeve. So guys, to cut the armhole, all you have to do is just to measure around the sleeve like this. But remember, you are still going to use 1/2 inch to join the shoulder, so that you're going to skip about 1/2 inch or that top part. And then, so what I have is 11. I'm going to place this tape here and make sure that I have 11 inches of width, and then you're going to go ahead and come down here by about 4 inches, just like how we cut our normal sleeve. So now that I've marked the 4 inches down this way, I'm going to just place my tape. I'm going to just place my tape this way and then mark all the way to this like an angle, and then check what I have here. So I have about 12 inches. Halfway through 12 is going to be 6. I'm going to give it a curve facing down and another curve facing up. So this is our basic sleeve, right? And then you're going to check the width you have at the end here, and then whatever you have, you're going to divide it by 2. So you're going to check around your arm width, your sleeve width, what you have. So for me, I'm going to be using about I'm going to use 8 inches. That's plus my seam allowance. I'm going to mark it here, connect this to this point, and then just trim it out. This is your sleeve. You go ahead, attach it to the dress. So guys, all I have left is just to couple everything together. So you can see this is my sleeve here. So I'm going to do that and come back. This is what this looks like, and if you look, you'll find that this here is tucked into the plackets for this. So you see what this looks like. It's tucked into this. I'm going just to trim off the excess, and then you see this here is tucked in here, and then at the other end is also tucked into the sleeve. So that's basically how you're going to do it. You see the 2 sides is done. So I'm just going to go ahead, put the button in between here. So this is the body. You can go ahead, if you want, you can put pocket on the 2 sides. I've already folded the 2 ends. So this is what the ends look like. So this is done now. So just for the neckline, all you have to do is do the same thing. Cut out 3 inches of width fabric, and then check round your neck, measure from one end round to the other, and make sure that this fits your neckline. Like close it up this way and measure, and make sure that the opening here fits your neckline, because you're about to put a bishop collar there. So all you have to do is, after that, take what you need to attach to it, fold it into two, sew close the end, flip it inside out this way, and then tuck in about half an inch at the end, right? Tuck in half an inch in on two sides. So you're going to tuck in half an inch in on two sides, and then take one side of this here, put it inside of this, and just go ahead with, put it in half inch deep, like half inch deep into this here, and then go ahead and just keep sewing it round. So you're going to use this to sandwich this, you're going to use this band to sandwich this neckline, and then sew it all the way around. So that's how you're going to get the neckline done all the way to the other side. So that's basically how you do this here. I'm going to go ahead, do mine, and then put in my button. So that's it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. Bye.